Guys, what is up? It is me again, Nintendo Console Gamer, back with another Conduit 2 weapon breakdown. This time it is the Aegis Device, a special weapon in the energy category. And yes, I did say that right. It is the Aegis Device. That took me a little bit by surprise when I looked up the pronunciation, but it is there. Go to dictionary.com and click the microphone button, and that is what you will find. I don't know, it's gonna take some getting used to calling it that, but I suppose that is the proper English pronunciation. But either way, I'm sure you guys have noticed this isn't actually multiplayer gameplay. It is invasion gameplay for reasons you can probably guess, and which I'll tell you later in the video. But either way, you're probably curious about the damage and the statistical side of the weapon. So that's what's coming up next. Aegis Device's damage is not poor on its own, but that combined with some other statistics is what makes it incredibly weak. Without any energy upgrades, the Aegis Device will do 16 damage per shot, meaning that it will require 7 shots to kill. There's no such thing as a headshot multiplier with the Aegis Device at all. With improved energy damage, it will make a jump of 1 point up to 17 damage. This will boost it to being a 6-shot kill, so it is something to think about if you're actually using this as a weapon. With energy focus, the Aegis Device will make the climb to 19 damage. That means it will still be a 6-shot kill, so not really worth equipping by itself. But if you equip both energy perks, that will make it go up to 20 damage per shot, same on the head as usual, and that will make it a 5-shot kill, assuming your opponent is not wearing any sort of armor. So that is something to think about. However, the Aegis Device is probably not best used as a weapon, and its main feature is a chargeable shield that can be used to collect enemy projectiles and shoot them back when releasing the charge shot. However, if you do not equip Aegis Device specialization, there will be a limit to how much you can hold in your shield, and after that it will disappear and it will be completely shoot throughable. I know that's not a word, but so Aegis Device specialization will take that away, and that is also in the primary upgrade slot. Another thing also in the primary upgrade slot is Capacitator, which will help you charge up your shield faster, and that is a big deal considering your life may be at stake while you're charging it up. So there are a couple of options, that none of which are bad to put in the primary upgrade slot, so you have to choose wisely. But on with more statistics, the Aegis Device's rate of fire is capped at 200 rounds per minute, which is awful. Even for semi-automatic weapons, for comparison, the Arc Eclipse shoots at 350, and even though that one has highly variable damage, it is considerably more effective in combat than the Aegis Device. Another thing that the Aegis Device has against it is that it has no form of iron sights or aiming in to increase chances of killing at longer ranges. However, the accuracy is fairly spot on, which is, I suppose, a good thing, but it doesn't really matter since you'll never be able to kill anybody anyway. But it is still a factor in the gun's performance. Another thing to note is that the bullets travel incredibly slowly, much slower than the ballistics weapons or the Arc Eclipse Carbonizer. Probably about the same as the Warp Pistol, so if you're trying to take on anyone further than point blank, they'll easily be able to sidestep your bullets. So that's another problem with using the Aegis device in multiplayer. One of the good statistics about the Aegis device, probably one of the only good ones, is that there is no clip. You have infinite capacity of shots, and you can fire infinitely without having to reload either, so you don't have to worry about capacity or reloading. So I guess that is a good thing, although probably one of the only good things. Another good thing, good-ish thing about the Aegis device is that its movement speed is almost exactly 90%, which is the same as the roughly the same as the Scar and the Arc Eclipse. So you'll still be able to move at a decent rate while holding down your shield, although you're still definitely not going to be able to subdue a sprinting enemy. I was unable to test the TPC launcher self-catch with the Aegis device, that exploit, due to time constraints, but that will be a separate video in sometime in the relatively near future, so I'm not just skipping over that feature. Another thing to note is that while you are shielded, melee still passes through your shield, and so will grenades and most explosives, unless you have specialization on. But so you're fairly defenseless even at a close range. You have no firepower to back you up besides the secondary. This weapon is really only good for one thing in multiplayer, and that is that it is a pretty good weapon for trolling. As in, if your teammate's standing still sniping at people, you can just simply hop in front of him with your shield and take away his bullets. And also you can try to trap enemies, although they can still melee you and all that, but still, it is pretty good for trolling. There's not really any better weapon than this one if you're looking to troll. However, just as the Arc Eclipse was good for one thing, and that was campaign, this is also good for another thing, and that is invasion, which is why I've been playing invasion this whole time. This is the gun that helped me beat invasion. It's extremely good when you get to the higher rounds, when all the explosives, and it's especially good against trust advancers. I guess it's not bad for campaign either, but I don't know if it ever shows up in campaign. If it does, you probably wouldn't be able to have it for long. But it is the #1 gun to use in invasion due to the fact that it never runs out of ammo, and it shields you from your enemies, at least your enemies' fire. But anyways, it's now time for the recommended loadout. First off, since the Aegis device isn't a real gun, we're going to make use of the primary upgrade armory to give us a real one. Due to high mobility, high power, and high versatility, the Scar and the Hive Cannon are the best candidates for this, so either one is a good fit for this loadout. For our grenade choice, we are going to be using flashbangs, because unless your enemy is heavily sedated, it's going to be a tough kill with the Aegis device. For our secondary upgrade, a bomb bag will ensure that you'll have plenty of these, a total of 3 flashbangs, enough to keep you stocked for a while. With the Aegis device, almost every encounter will leave you with a red screen, so mending is never a bad choice for our secondary upgrade beacon. And since we're going to need every option available to kill the enemy, improved melee is a way of extending your reach with your fists, to serve as a viable way of controlling your enemy within arm's reach. That's the loadout, if indeed you're brave enough to try the Aegis device in multiplayer at all. Thanks for watching. The annotations on screen now will take you to my previous 2 weapon guides. But until my next guide, on the Dark Star, I will see you all later.